Hello, Marquette School families. Just sending a quick video out with the letter and the flyer and the email that you are receiving today. First off, just a huge thank you for helping us get our year off to a great start. I'm so grateful for our teachers and Mrs. Kavas and our staff and all of our families and students. We've had an incredible first couple weeks, and it's again been an affirmation of how blessed we are at our little Catholic school. There's so many gifts and so many blessings, and I really encourage us as we enter into these first months that we keep our eyes fixed on all that we have, not that what we don't have. All right, the blessings and the gifts that we have here at Marquette School. Sure, there's going to be struggles and different challenges and things, but we want to keep our eyes fixed on the Lord and keep our eyes fixed on His many blessings and goodness in our lives. So just thank you for your cooperation and your joy and your willingness to work as a team. It's one of the gifts we have at Marquette, is that we can all work together throughout these different things that are thrown at us during these crazy and weird times in the world. So thank you so much. Just real quick, want to let you know that in the letter that you're getting today, myself and Mrs. Kavas, our principal, and Julie Anderson, our school board chair, and Amy Fox, our former HASA president, and our finance council chair, John Scooby, have a letter that we've sent out just to kind of share with you some of the structures at Marquette School and how we operate. Sometimes people don't always understand, like, how is this connected to this and this connected to this. There's a kind of a way of just explaining a little bit of a flow chart of how operations happen and how decisions are made and these sorts of things, just so you kind of understand a little bit of some of that flow and the way things work. We share that with you because we're making some real slight changes this year in regards to our operational flow. In the past, we've had this organization that's called HASA, the Home and School Association. And traditionally, the Home and School Association met once a month. There's been a president, a vice president, a secretary, and it's really been a small group of people that have been remarkably committed to Marquette School. And I'm so grateful for them. But what started happening was there was just such a small group, and they would meet once a month, but rarely would there be new faces there. And I think sometimes people felt like maybe they weren't part of it, and that if they missed a meeting, they couldn't come to the next meeting. And for some reason, there just wasn't a lot of action going on with that particular group and wing here at our school. And so we talked about this a lot last year, and there's some, just some, like, how could we better do this and get engagement from our families in regards to things like fundraisers and events and all these sorts of things. And one of the things we decided to do is kind of cease to have those HASA meetings, so to speak, but have more gatherings that are really intentional about planning for certain things. All right. That way families can come to one meeting or to one planning session for something that's very particular and intentional, and we really focus in that meeting on that. And then when that's done, we move on to the next thing. And for every kind of event or every fundraiser, we can have a chair and a co-chair that organize a meeting and get the word out. And so then we can have brainstorming sessions, and we can have planning, and we can get our parents involved in those sorts of things. So in some ways, it's very similar to the way things were done before, but we're going to make it more event specific than just having a broad group of people that just meet every month. It'll be more event-oriented, okay? And I'm really grateful. Mrs. Kavas and Julie and Amy, we've really talked this through and been prayerful about it. And we're going to give this a try this year and see how it goes. I think it could be an opportunity for us to really pull some things together. With that being said, your involvement is really important here at the school, and we try to portray that in the letter that we sent out. We can do all we want and work really hard at our leadership level, but if those families that are invested kind of just fade away, we can't be as great as God could possibly make us. All right, He needs our initiative, and so I really, to get involved in our 3 fundraisers we have this year. All right, and even those this year are going to be even easier to pull off just because of our current COVID situation. I hope they'll still be as fruitful because we're in desperate need of successful fundraising to keep operating our school and growing it as it is. So your involvement is really important. But then we also have things like Pumpkin Bingo and the Carnival, and we've got things like graduations and a variety of other different events that we have, our Christmas celebrations that we need parents to help with. And so we're just going to try to have specific times where people can gather. And maybe sometimes these will be at a local restaurant, or they'll be at the church, or maybe in somebody's home. And an opportunity just to get families and parents together to help us organize and pull off some of those incredible events and fundraisers that we do. You are really necessary, and we want you to be part of that process. It's so, so very important. So with all that being said, I just want to conclude with this. Normally by this time we would have all of our families out knocking on doors and getting pledges and all these sorts of things for our annual walkathon. But due to the kind of COVID circumstances and situations, it gets a little bit cumbersome and difficult to have people asking for pledges and to try to pull off that whole walkathon experience. So we talked a lot about this at our school board meeting, and we've kind of been praying and discerning. Our school board felt it was very important that we still did something this fall, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. And so we're going to do something that's a little bit simpler than our typical walkathon. On the night of Thursday, October 1st, that's next Thursday evening, we're going to invite all of our families and school supporters to gather at Alcott Park from 6 to 8 p.m. The cool thing about doing that is that's not a school night, all right, with our new 4-day school week. So there's no school on Fridays, so maybe we can stay out just a bit later on that Thursday evening and celebrate the gift of our school. And so from 6 to 7, we're going to have food and some games and some activities for our families. And then from 7 to 8, we'll gather around the gazebo area or maybe over at the water fountain area, and I will lead us in a time of prayer, a time of celebration. And just for us to really commend the whole year to God and allow our kids to kind of pray and sing and to celebrate the gift of our school. So that's going to be on October 1st, and that's going to replace our traditional walkathon. Okay? And then the question is like, well, how are we going to raise funds? All right. The goal is for this to be an event for our families to get together and to our alumni and our supporters just to celebrate Marquette School on October 1st and to pray together. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a link that's attached to the flyer in ways that you can ask people to support Marquette School. Okay, and so I'd invite you, maybe those people that you would normally ask to give, maybe you know people out there that love our school, you'd ask them to make a donation this fall in memory of somebody or in honor of someone. And they can do that all electronically this year, and we're just going to see how that goes. Okay, it's a little bit of a risk. I don't know how that's going to happen. People could obviously write a check and send it to the church and just put Marquette School on it. But we're just going to have the event on the 1st, and we're going to pray. And people that give electronically or write in a check, if they do it in memory or honor of someone, we'll remember them that night during that hour of prayer and that time of just singing and praying together at the park that night. So again, you can read through the letter, you can look through the flyer, and you can always call and ask some questions if you have them. But again, let's all work together. Change is hard sometimes on people, and it's difficult to let go of the way things were done. But let's embrace and see the opportunities that come during this and not kind of resist. Okay, let's really be open to this opportunity and this gift, October 1st, for us to all gather and celebrate as a school. And hopefully, maybe we can rally some donors to help support all that's going on at our school. Our addition of 7th grade, all the technology things we've added, our new teachers, our Teach for Christ program. I mean, we have done so much. Our playground, there's so much. Come walk through our school. You'll see all the improvements, new flooring. We're working on new lighting in all the rooms, all these sorts of things. And so our fundraising is very important to keep your tuition down and to keep our operational costs going, that we can still stay healthy financially as a school. So please get behind that. Send out that link. Advertise that in your social media pages. Ask people specifically to give. But we're not going to ask you to collect a bunch of stuff and mail it in. Have them give it online, or they can send it to the church and just put Marquette School on it as a fall donation. Lastly, so tomorrow, it's already Wednesday tomorrow, and Amy Fox is helping pull together this year's event, along with a couple of the other ladies from our school, some of the moms. They're going to have a quick meeting tomorrow after school at 3:30 out on the playground. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. So if any parents out there tomorrow would like to meet out on the playground, they're just going to talk through our event on October 1st and just share some ideas and some thoughts and some activities and the food and different ways we can pray and all those sorts of things. So we want your feedback, we want your input, and then also see like who's willing to help out to pull that night together. So if you're free tomorrow at 3:30, Amy said she'd like to gather people out on the playground after school. The kids can play on the playground, and our parents can kind of gather to talk about our event on October 1st. All right, so again, thank you so much, Marquette School. I'm so grateful for all of you. I'm praying for you. Please pray for me, our teachers, our staff, Ms. Kavas, and I look forward to gathering with you on October 1st. Make sure you read through the letter, look through the flyer, and just God bless you. Let's move forward with hope and optimism. God's got great things in store for us, and let's make this the best year yet. God bless, and peace be with you.